Revision. Hey guys, what's up? It's the Culture Detective here, investigating your favorite places. And, very interesting. What's going on? Today, I will be doing a me around the world video. I'm going to separate it into two parts because very soon I'm gonna have to go. I need to go out and do some stuff that is revision with my classmates. Yay. So I'm gonna talk about it anyways right now because I have a little time. So today I'm going to talk about Philippines. Now, I've been to Philippines twice in my life so far. One in 2017 January and one in 2018 January. And for the time I've been to Philippines in 2018 January, I went to the north in the Luzon region in places such as Dagupan, Bani, Bolinao, Alaminos, and also Angeles City. And I have already talked about these places and showed photos and videos on two previous videos. So I'll put the link in the description. You can check those two videos out. Not only do I talk about these places, but I also show video footage with background music and stuff. It's sort of like a half vlog, half talk. But this one, I don't have enough videos to make a vlog, so I'll just talk about it. So, 2017 January. It's supposed to be cold for the northern hemisphere, but I'm in Philippines, so it's hot. And we went to the island of Panay, and we did that. Well, me, my family, and my cousin's family. We went there because someone my cousins know, and my cousin's family know, will have a wedding. Except here's the catch. The wedding is postponed, but we were not informed that. So originally we were going to attend the wedding in the first 2 days, and it's going to take place in Iloilo City, south of the island of Panay. And then we're going to head north to Boracay, which is this little island off of Panay, north of Panay. And it's this tropical exotic resort beach island where you can just relax and have fun. And we were gonna stay there for around 5 more days, and that is our plan. And since the wedding is postponed, we didn't really do anything on the first 2 days in Iloilo City. So this is going to be what happened. Here's a bit confusion. I don't know if I had arrived to Philippines on January 26th or 27th. So because of that, I also don't know if the last day there is February 2nd or 3rd. My Google Calendar is glitching out, maybe. Like, I see two Philippine day ones on my calendar. One on 26, one on 27. I don't know which one's real. I'm gonna go with the one in 26 because that's what all my photos and videos are saying. The first day is 26. So I'll go with that. So the first day is January 26th, I think. Actually, on the day before, on the 25th, we already, at night, me, my family, my cousin's family, we went to the airport. And after that, on January 26th, in the very morning, like midnight, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., we were on the plane to Iloilo City. So it was a midnight flight. I was exhausted. It was tiring. So very soon, on January 26th, after the flight, we finally arrived at the airport of Iloilo City, and it is the first time in my life where I've been to Philippines. And some people say Philippines is the best country in the world. We'll find out. And we by the time we arrived, it was already like early morning, and we immediately went to the hotel, and the hotel is called Seda Atria. And Seda Atria, you know, I'm kind of forgetting, like, how is the hotel like, but I think it's pretty good. I think the hotel is not bad. Alright, so I'm back. And it's already nighttime now, and I'm gonna just continue talking about the Philippines. And I know my hair is ridiculous, I'm gonna get a haircut. So, first of all, it is day 1, which is January 27th, and we arrived at Iloilo City. And when we left the airport, it was that the sun still wasn't up, so it was still dark. But when we arrived at Seda Atria, which is a really nice hotel, but I don't know why I didn't take any photos of it. But essentially, we stayed at this hotel for around actually exactly 2 nights, and it was all right. It was a pretty good hotel. And around the hotel is this really nice, gentrified, westernized little village. Not really village, but like just an area full of, you know, nice, comfy, homey pathways with different, you know, cool looking restaurants around it. So the place is way more gentrified than I've expected when I've arrived. And then for lunch, actually breakfast, we went to Sea Garden. But you know, it's not really lunch. It's like brunch. But basically, we went to Sea Garden, and it's still in Iloilo City, but it's not near Seda Atria. But anyways, this restaurant, Sea Garden, it's not a huge restaurant or anything. I don't know why my cousins' families help would bring us there, but we're there, and the food is okay, pretty typical. This is our first meal in Philippines, and again, I didn't take any photos, so I don't know what did we eat, but it's probably stuff that is pretty normal, like nothing too crazy, you know, rice, seafood maybe, and some veggies maybe. I don't know. I didn't take any photos of it. I know that around that place the views are really nice, and I took some photos of the view. I also saw ants on the ground because in Philippines there are just so many flies and ants and insects in Philippines. So you know, there's that. I drank fruit juice, pulpy fruit juice, and there's also a coconut. So there's that. Well, hey, look, pizza. There is pizza. I don't know that. We had pizza there. We had chicken wings, fried rice. Yeah, that's it. And then afterwards, we went to the SM City, which is the biggest mall chain, super mall chain in the Philippines. And we went to the SM City of Iloilo City, and it's this big mall. And as always, just like any other malls, you know, similar in style. And again, it's way more gentrified and way more westernized than I've expected, which I don't know if it's a good thing, but you know, it's whatever. We even went to this place called Storyland, which is basically the equivalent to Adventureland in Hong Kong, which is basically this place where you can play games and gamble and, you know, throw stuff and, you know, use up coins and get gifts for kids, of course. And I also went to Jollibee's, and it's the first time in my life I'd ever tried Jollibee's, and of course, it is in Philippines, Jollibee, and I didn't eat any burgers or anything, but I think I did eat an ice cream, a small cup of ice cream, and it's pretty cool. And then afterwards, we went to the supermarket, and it's a pretty big, pretty large supermarket, and yeah. Nothing out of the ordinary, actually. Everything's pretty expected. And I bought a drink, a green tea, and we left. We left the SM City. And after we left, because both of our families also went there, but we only have one car, so one family will take the car and go back home, go back to the hotel. But me, I decided to walk back to the hotel, which is not too far away, if you look at the map. And so me, my cousins, and my cousin's dad, aka my uncle, we walked back to the hotel. We walked to the pedestrian bridge, and we walked all the way back. Now, let me take this opportunity to talk about what are the major differences between Philippines and Hong Kong, what I think are the differences between Philippines and the USA, and what I think are the differences between Panay and Luzon in the north. First of all, it's really similar to Hong Kong, except, how do I say this? Spacier. First of all, way spacier. But the thing about Iloilo City is that it feels very underdeveloped. A lot of old buildings, a lot of empty plots of lands, a lot of just, construction sites where buildings are still being constructed, and not much green, even though there are. And I guess the whole city gives me a dirty feel, which is also present in a lot of places in Hong Kong. But say if you go to the central district of Hong Kong, it doesn't feel as dirty. It doesn't feel as, local, but it feels super touristy, super flashy and gentrified. Some spots in Iloilo City are really gentrified, but there is that. And I don't know how do I compare this with the north. I guess from where I've been to, Angeles City is more cramped than this, and definitely more, I guess, more messy. But farther north, it's way more rural than this, I guess. See, there's this old house which has like vines and moss growing out of it. And we just walked all the way back home. It was tiring, but it was fun. It was fun. For dinner, we went to this restaurant called Tatoy's, and it's a seafood restaurant, and that's all I remember. Yeah, looking back at the photos, I don't really know much. It's a pretty nice, expensive restaurant, I guess. And, shrimp, rice, seafood, really nice. I drank Coca-Cola, and that's basically day one. Now, moving over to day two, ouch. We had breakfast at the breakfast lobby of Seda Atria, the breakfast place, the buffet place in that place. And then on that day, we went to this island called the Mango Island. Now, I've searched in Google Map, and I can't find a Mango Island, but that's what my aunt told me, is that this place is called Mango Island. That's what my mom told me. So we took a car, and we went all the way to the seaside, to the port, to the pier. And it feels even more rural. The houses are even smaller. Everything feels cheaper, super local, and dirty. And we went onto a boat, and we sort of sat on the boat. Well, it's a big boat anyways. And from there, we went to the so-called Mango Island. please, if anyone here is from Panay, if anyone here is from Iloilo City, tell me, where the hell is this island? But on the way there, I get to look at some poor people houses, seaside slum, and I saw these very cramped, very compact, cheap houses, and wow, the living conditions there suck. But it's also somewhat beautiful in a sense. Like, what a sight, what a sight. Anyways, we arrived at the Mango Island, and we didn't do much afterwards. So of course, afterwards there are these, pillars and an arc, little hallway for us to go in. Oh, this place is called Guimaras. I didn't know that. I notice it now. Really? Oh my god, that's a big island. Holy. So we went to Guimaras, and people are saying it's Mango Island. No, it's Guimaras. All right, now I can see where this is. Oh, okay. So all right, Guimaras. We went there. We arrived, and there are lots of mango there. We go to souvenir shops, and everything's mango. And we took a red jeepney. Another thing that you definitely need to do in Philippines is ride a jeepney or jeepney, and that is like a van, a little larger than a van, a little smaller than a bus, actually way smaller than a bus, and it's a public transportation, and it's a jeepney. And so we went onto the jeepney, and we went off the road, and we went to a very rural place, somewhere foresty, somewhere grassy, beside the river. We took a bunch of photos of trees, of the grass. We saw a frog on the ground, very natural, very countryside, pretty awesome as well. And yeah, that's pretty cool. Let's see, what else did we do there? I think that's all we did. Okay, yeah, afterwards we went to a restaurant called the Pitstop. And this is a really weird restaurant because everything's mango infused. Of course, you get a bunch of mango drinks, but also they serve mango pizza. And on pizza, they also put cheese and pepper, like green bell pepper. So we have a mango cheese pizza, and let me tell you, it tastes weird. It tastes weird. It tastes exactly what you would expect of a mango pizza, of a mango cheese pizza. Like, it's not terrible. It doesn't taste terrible, but it doesn't taste great either. It just tastes weird. It tastes absolutely weird. And that's it. We get mango dish, mango everything, mango fruits, of course, but also mango beef, which is also a thing in China and in Hong Kong especially. So there's that. And we climbed on a jeepney. My brother hurt his leg, and there's that. Guimaras. Jordan Guimaras. And then afterwards we, took the boat back to Iloilo. We went to Seda Atria, settled down, and then we went back out and we went to a nearby restaurant in the very gentrified area where people are performing songs, and there are restaurant chains, spas, shops. But we went to this restaurant called Quay, and it's a Singaporean food restaurant, and we had Singaporean food there, and it's pretty nice. There were vinyls on the walls, and that's basically day 2. And so the first chapter of my first Philippines trip is over. I forgot to mention that we also went to some shops nearby. We saw some wristbands. So there's that, and that's basically day 2, and that's basically the first chapter of the trip. And now the second chapter, also the rest of the trip, does not take place in Iloilo City. It takes place in Boracay, which is, say, this is Panay, and on the very bottom is Iloilo City. And now we have to go all the way up north to an island north of Panay, small island called Boracay. And it is this very famous beach island where it's all packed with resorts and beaches. And it's a little exotic island, very underdeveloped, very cheap. There are some urban parts in there, but very, very underdeveloped, very cheap, very small. And in a way, it's actually very memorable. And actually, I'm kind of loving the, very cramped, very natural, rural, seaside feels of it. I'm really feeling it. Also, another thing about my trip there is that around the time I was at Boracay was also the time when I started listening to Swan's music. And so Swan's very visceral and raw music paired with my very visceral and raw trip and experience there really make this trip something special. A very special experience indeed. So anyways, day 3, we early in the morning, we were in a car and we just went off. We went off to from Iloilo City all the way up north to the port of the north. And wow, fucking boring, extremely boring on the car. Here's the thing, I don't know, I guess my phone, no, I used my phone, like I had a smartphone, I guess, but there was no signal, so of course there is no Wi-Fi, I can't go to the internet. And just secondly, I guess my earphones are in the luggages and I just can't take it, so I don't have it. And even though if I have earphones, I can't listen to music because again, I need Wi-Fi connection, internet connection to listen to music. So I was just looking at my phone, and that's the whole car ride. And they were playing music in the car, and the music keeps on looping. Like there are these 4 very shitty songs that keeps on being played over and over and over again. Shitty pop songs. And it just keeps on playing, and throughout the whole car ride, it's like 4 hours long, and it's torturous. It's torturously boring. And then we arrived at the port, and around there we were in this very cramped port, and we had to wait there as well because we were too late apparently. So we need to wait for the next shift of ferry to go to Boracay. And so there is that, and it was terrible. It was truly terrible. The port is very spacey, first of all, and we waited for a very, very long time. It was boring. A majority of the time spent this day is just waiting. But finally, we arrived at Boracay in a place called Aklan, Aklan. Alright. Okay, wait a second. Aklan is not Boracay. Well, Boracay is in Aklan. So that's why when we arrived it says Aklan, but it's not. It's actually still Boracay. Boracay, C-A-Y, but actually it's pronounced Boracay. Every Filipino says it's Boracay, so I'm gonna call it Boracay. We arrived, and the first thing we did is we took a motorcycle. All right. Skip. Oh yeah, when we arrived there, of course, like any ports, there would be 2 columns and a little waiting area, which is really nice. And I guess some people in our family didn't come with us, so we had to wait for them in the waiting area, and my cousin picked up a shell. It's in a shape of an ice cream cone. It has really beautiful white and brown patterns on top, and I don't know what's it called. And I also picked up a coral. I picked up a piece of coral, a piece of petrified coral turned to stone, which is really sad. But there's that. Really cool. I think he still has the shell, but I don't know. But anyways, afterwards, we took a very cheap, one of those very cheap, rusty, small, cramped motorcycles. You pay them, and they're like taxis. And these aren't just motorcycles. Like, it's like a motorcycle plus a passenger seat beside it with a ceiling in the back and all that stuff. And it was cramped, it was small, and 4 people tried to fit in, plus the luggage wrapped on top, strapped with a rope. And we rode on this thing as it was sunset, as it was nighttime, and damn, that was a fun experience because there were no windows, there were no doors, and I was holding onto the metal bar, and the roads, because it's an island, the roads aren't all flat. It's a little mountainous, so it was very bumpy, it was very shaky, and I was holding my camera, I was trying to film, and if I put my hand down, I could touch the road. I was so low on the ground, and it was windy because it was going really fast, and it was noisy, and my grandma lost her hat. Her hat flew off, and it was a lot of fun. It was a worthwhile experience. But basically, we went from the southern tip of Boracay all the way to the northwest part of Boracay, where we entered our resort. Here's the thing. Earlier this morning, I checked Google Maps, and I found out that there are so many. There are like 50 resorts in Boracay, and I can't find mine. But basically, we had to climb up a flight of stairs, about 160 steps, with these white guardrails, and it was so high up on the mountain. But our villa is very, very large. Okay, it has 2 layers. You know, 1 layer with multiple rooms, a giant couch, a giant food table, giant TV, and I lived in the attic for a while. The attic where there were beds and also a bathroom without a door because privacy. What's that? I don't know, which sucks, of course. And then there's another room below that, and it has air conditioning there. And there are also beds there, and it's safer there. Yeah. Afterwards, we settled down. We walked all the way back down of the stair.
Yeah. We can cook here.
Yeah.
We can cook. You have the bowl and the pot, right?
Yeah.
幾正我都。
Then I show you downstairs.
Okay.
The Wi-Fi password lang is
Oh yeah, it's okay.
Wow.
That's
Wow.
very good.
Case, and we went to this place called the Microtel BBQ, and we had dinner there. That is day 3. Day 4. Now it's starting to get repetitive. Day 4, we went to the supermarket in Boracay, the only place in Boracay. On our way there, you know, we basically went from the very south to the very north of Boracay. It's a small island, and a thin one too. And the only place in Boracay where it feels slightly urban is this little plot of land that feels like a little Tokyo in LA, where it's an empty space, it has a lot of people there, There are some supermarkets, some small restaurants, and that's basically it. Nothing too ambitious, nothing fancy, nothing expensive. And we went to this place called the D Mall, and we had a ramen lunch in the D Mall. It doesn't look super underdeveloped and cheap. It feels like another one of those chain shops, plot of land, village place. And there's that. And that's pretty much it. But outside of that little urban place, the road is basically mud. The shops, the ceilings are basically metal scraps. And the signs are all dirty. People are hanging clothes, smoke coming out, electric lines and cables in the sky. Very dirty. And again, I like the vibe. I like that vibe, But yeah, we went to we did visit the beach for a little, but at the end of the day, we went to this place called D Mall, but not really D Mall because it's only a restaurant. Outdoors restaurant, kinda, and we had ramen noodles there and mango juice, and that's basically it. And while I was eating, I heard someone play Wish You Were Here by Pink Floyd, and I was like, fuck. Even Filipinos have better music taste than Hong Kongers. That's just a joke, by the way. Don't take it personally. Afterwards, we went to the beach, and we went swimming. And it was awesome. The waves are, very violent, which is a lot of fun. And afterwards, we went back to our resort, and my parents and my cousin's parents and my grandma, they cooked food, and so we had food that day, Western food that night, and that's basically day 4. Yay. So now we have day 5, which is the most insane day in the entire trip. The most absolutely friggin' insane. Because on that day, we went snorkeling. We booked a boat. There's a boat driver, not really pilot. I guess you could call pilot, but a boat driver who drives the boat. The engine is loud. It's revving. It's brum, brum, brum. It's revving. And wow, we went snorkeling, and this day is fucking insane, and not for the right reasons. You may think, okay, so I'm gonna see a lot of cool fish and a lot of coral reefs, right? Well, yes, we drove the boat. We were on the boat, and we went offshore of Boracay, and I don't know where did we go afterwards. I looked at Google Map, and I don't see any more small islands, but as I recall, there are a bunch of small islands, bunch of other islands, bunch of really, really small islands, but I don't see any. I don't know why. But we drove off, and oh my god, far, far away, and it was horrible. And usually this doesn't happen to me, but I got seasick because the boat was rocking. It was just rocking and shaking. The waves are so huge and so violently clapping. It was rocking very intense. And again, usually when I take boats, I don't get seasick, but not this one. I felt legitimately sick. I wanted to vomit. It was bad. I didn't vomit at the end, but it's a terrible feeling. And I didn't take any photos because I was too sick. I was too seasick to take any photos. But but basically we were on this small boat, and it was horrible because we brought a lot of things with us. Our phones, money, some stuff, real paper, maps, I guess. And the waves are so large, it splashes onto us, and everything's wet. Our bags are wet, our phones are wet, We were holding drinks like plastic cups for some reason, and they spill. There was sand. We were hurt. We had cuts and scrapes, and we had band-aids on top, and the band-aids fall off. It was a mess. It was gross. It was disgusting. It was a visceral experience. The sea is way more powerful than human beings. This is the only time in my entire life where I feel like the sea is so much more powerful in when compared to human beings. Like humans, they can just be swallowed up by waves, and you're not even talking about the biggest waves. So it was torturous. We had towels, but they were wet as well. For a few moments, we actually went down. Not everybody went down, but I went to snorkeling, diving goggles. And originally, I wanted to bring my phone down and take photos underwater, but I didn't at the end because my mom said they can't trust the plastic bags that protects the phone. So I didn't. But when I go down, the water, I didn't go down for much. The water is cold, and the waves are strong, and I was holding onto the sides of the boat, and I didn't go far away. I didn't go deep, but I did look down a few times, and I saw loads of fishes swimming in groups in schools, and I saw some coral reefs that are very rocky and bumpy underneath, not so deeply, and that's basically it. The water is somewhat cloudy and muddy, to be honest, not that beautiful. And then at one point, when I was feeling super duper sick, we stopped at an island, and I don't know what island this is. It's a very, very small island, I think. We were on the beach, and we had fun on the beach for a while, and then we had lunch there on some outdoors place with plastic chairs and very simple plastic ceiling, simple food. And that's basically it. And then afterwards we went back home, and we went back to the hotel, and we were already tired, and we went back to our resort, and we had dinner there, and that's basically it. We also went to the beach again. Also, I forgot to mention that in the morning of day 4, in the morning of day 5, it was raining, and the attic wasn't really that well built, so raindrops were falling from the ceiling into me. So I woke up because water is falling onto my face, rainwater, while I sleep. So on day 5, on day 6, I decided. My family decided to switch up. I will go to the ground floor, on the first floor of the 3-story resort, to sleep there, and my family will sleep there too, and my cousin's family will go up on the attic. So we swapped on that day. But other than that, we went to the beach, and we went swimming again. We spent a lot of time on the beaches. When it's how do I say it? When the water's not high, low waters. There's this little island on the beach. It's so small, about the size of this room. And when the water's high again, the island is covered, and it was awesome. We went swimming for a while, and then afterwards we went to one of the restaurants. There is a chain of restaurants on the beach. Restaurants and cafes, a lot of signs, a lot of tourists, and we went to one of them. I had chicken rice, and that's basically day 6. And I think I got hurt while I was walking to the beach. We decided to take a shortcut instead of, because there's a sharp turn, right? And originally we need to go from here to the beach. But we could also walk through the rock, through this little cave, and I think right here, the scar is gone already, but like right here, it scratched the rock, and it was bleeding very bad, but I got over it, because I'm a man,
时候你应该起床的时候。那你那个底包是什么？我有了。
I guess on day 7, not much had happened as well. Again, from days 6 to 7, we also didn't wake up too early. We also spent a lot of time in the resort just hanging out, not really doing anything. The Wi-Fi, the internet connection absolutely sucks. I can barely watch, not even watch. I can barely check my WhatsApp. I cannot watch any YouTube videos. I tried to watch like an episode of Better Call Saul, I still remember that, and I can't because it keeps on loading. Like for each second of playing the video, you need to render it and buffer for 20 more seconds, roughly. I tried to put my phone right beside the Wi-Fi router, it still sucks, so I gave up. And yeah, no connection, it was torturous. But basically, on day 7, I went to the beach again, and I was already really tired. We had lunch there, we had food there, really nice food, maybe, a sandwich or I think, a drink. I saw 2 dogs having sex for the first time in my life in front of me, in real life, and it was hilarious. Nobody cared. I don't know what the hell was I thinking. Why didn't I take a video of them fucking? Why didn't I do that? I should have done that. But basically, and then after the sex, one dog did cunnilingus to another dog. That I took a photo of. You can see that here. It's not demonetizable by YouTube. Again, this trip is insane. So on day 8, which is basically the last day of the trip, we went from our resort, we packed our bags, we took the very cheap, rusty motor tricycle thing back to the south of Iloilo, south of Boracay, and we took a ferry from Boracay to Aklan, and from Aklan from Aklan we went to this really cheap, broken, small airport where we go into the thing and we just climb onto our planes in the middle of the runway. Small airport, very cheap, and very small plane, and we took a flight from there to Iloilo Airport, and then from Iloilo to Manila. Apparently I've been to Manila, and in Manila we had a lunch there at a Japanese restaurant, and that wasn't even my idea, that was my cousin's idea, but we went to a Japanese restaurant in the Manila airport, and then after that we took the plane from Manila back to Hong Kong, and that's basically Panay, Iloilo City, and Boracay. So I need to wrap this up quick. Overall, I'm enjoying this trip. I don't think it's a very fruitful trip. I don't think Iloilo City is a really touristy place. I think right now maybe it's better now. Maybe it's more touristy now. But I don't see anything too cultural there. But I do really like the cheap, local, broken, underdeveloped vibes, especially in Boracay when everything feels messy, natural, countryside. It's also a very watery country. So yeah, I have 20 seconds left. So what are your thoughts on Philippines? Tell me below, comments below, subscribe if you want more. Thanks for watching. No storage space. Bye.